Divorce rates in the Muslim community are climbing, and it seems like everyone has an explanation. For example, being married too young, or not communicating, not being compatible, or social media ruining expectations, or women being too demanding, or men not stepping up. And the solutions that are proposed match the diagnosis. Communication workshops are everywhere, compatibility questionnaires, learning love language. Some of these helps a bit. Temporarily, problems resurface. And this is because the standard explanations are describing symptoms rather than the disease. I would like to propose an idea. What if Muslim marriages are failing? Not because of communication, but because of the condition of the spouses' hearts. When two people get married, they don't just bring their personalities into the home. They bring the situation of the heart. And sometimes the diseases. He might bring his kibr. He's arrogant, he needs to be right, he can't hear criticism, feeling attacked. She might bring hasad. She compares her life with everyone else's. The resentment builds when expectations aren't met, or the roles are reversed, or they're different diseases, or both have the same. But every couple has a combination of two hearts, and each heart has its own condition. Al-Ghazali did not write about marriage as primarily a legal contract or a romantic partnership, but he wrote about it as a spiritual environment. And that's the tradition of Islamic spirituality. Two nafs being close to each other. That can refine them, but it can also destroy them. And this is also why communication skills don't fix the problem. You can learn to use I feel statements and still be driven by arrogance underneath. Or you can learn active listening, but still you're consumed by the need to control. The skill is on the surface, the disease is in the heart. The Quran describes marriage in a beautiful ayah. He created for you from yourselves mates, that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you mawadda and rahma. Mawadda, love, affection, warm companionship. Rahma, mercy, tenderness. And sakina, tranquility. Not on the list is passion, excitement, personal fulfillment, entertainment. Not because there's anything bad about it, but because this cannot hold up a relationship. When sakina instead is absent from a marriage, no amount of date nights can bring this back, because sakina is not produced by activities, it's produced by the state of both hearts. The diseases that kill marriages, specifically, one of the most common is kibr. Never apologizing, dismissing the other spouse's feelings, needing to win every argument. And the arrogant spouse cannot do the most important thing in a marriage, putting themselves in the other person's shoes, making empathy impossible. Hubb ad-dunya, loving the dunya, treating the marriage as a means to a status, to a lifestyle, to an image for the type of house you will have, or how will your children look. So the other spouse becomes a vehicle for worldly ambition. And this is demeaning to the spirit they have inside. Ghafla, distraction in marriage. That looks like emotional absence, being physically present but never truly there, not noticing the important things, or not investing in the relationship because we're too consumed by work, screens, the heart being offline. Many times in marriages, the sickness that really breaks it is ujb, self-admiration. I'm a good husband because I provide. I'm a good wife because look how clean the house is. The belief is that I've done my part and any remaining problem is the other person's fault. If we return to the Prophet ﷺ as our model for marriage, we will see how his example would destroy every cultural nafsani distortion that we have built. He ﷺ served in the home. The idea that housework is beneath anyone has no basis in his example. He was also emotionally present, listening to his wife's concerns, stories, complaints. We never hear him saying, "You're being emotional," to one of his wives. Expressing affection openly, calling his wives by loving names. These are not small details. They really reveal a man that was fully present in the relationship, investing in the emotional life. Another aspect is how he handled conflict without domination, without shouting, rather going quiet, which also, by the way, preserves a lot more the dignity of the husband rather than screaming. And when his wife were upset with him, he listened. So when we try to see marriage through the lens of ilm al-nafs, it changes a lot. It does not become primarily about compatibility. It becomes primarily about mutual refinement. The other spouse is the mirror of our nafs. The things that irritate us most in them reflect diseases that we have inside ourselves. And the friction in marriage can be the grinding that polishes the mirror of the heart. This is why marriage is half of faith. It's a great environment for purification of ourselves. We cannot hide from our spouse. They see our worst. They can trigger our worst patterns. And that exposure is opportunity for growth. Of course, we should not stay in a destructive marriage and call it tazkiyah. Divorce is halal. But at the same time, there's a difference between the discomfort of growth and the damage of abuse. They look very different. So that also means that the goal of marriage is not to find someone who's always going to agree with us. So Muslim marriages are not failing primarily because we forgot how to communicate, but because I think we forgot what marriage is for. And because we enter in them without paying attention to the state of our heart and without treating it. That means that the path back won't be better communication techniques, rather the work that both spouses would do on their own hearts, resolving kibr, ghafla, ujb, hubb ad-dunya. So the space between them becomes a place of sakina, mawadda, rahma. So if you're married, something resonates of what I say, don't point this video to the spouse, but try to start with yourself. That's the prophetic way. The best of you, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are the best to their families, not the best communicator. The best in character. And character is the business of the heart. Inshallah, this will be a good word that is also helpful for those of you that are looking into getting married right now. Many younger people ask me, what can I do if I want to get married? Should I read the languages, the love languages, read this other self-help book? No, please start looking at the situation of your heart.